It's the most wonderful time of the year. We have the UCL knockouts, and then we have matches that we've never seen. For example, PSG versus Chelsea. You guys like my new song? I made it about the UCL knockouts because a lot of people think that Christmas is the most wonderful time of the year, but the actual best, most wonderful time of the year is the UCL knockout stage. And today we are going to be predicting every single UCL knockout stage round, actually not round, but every single match for match days. On Tuesday and Wednesday, we got PSG versus Chelsea, Newcastle versus Barca, Galatasaray, Liverpool. We're going to be talking about all these matches, guys. And I hope you guys are excited because I am very, very excited. I want to see who makes it to the next round, who gets upsetted, and etc. All that good stuff. So let's go ahead. I have some notes here from teams that I believe will make it far or will at least advance to the next round. Starting off with Newcastle versus Barcelona, all right? Here in my notes, I have Newcastle's currently sit in 12th place in the Premier League, right? So they're not doing very good in the Premier League, I'll be honest. Sorry, I had to burp. But that is not really Newcastle's fault, okay? I mean, they've had a couple injuries, but I think the main issue with Newcastle is that they are in a pretty competitive league. Like, let's be honest, the Premier League is... Sorry, I keep burping. Let's be honest, the Premier League is the most competitive league in world football today. So they're kind of going against the best in that league. But that doesn't mean that Newcastle isn't strong, okay? In the UCL, they've had some really good performances. However, most recently, they actually lost to Man City a couple days ago. So, I mean, take that as you will. Personally, I think that they were resting a couple players. Anthony Gordon didn't really play that much. He is going to be a key player in this game, however, against Barcelona, as well as Nick Woltemade, I always mess up this guy's name, Elanga, and Daniel Byrne. I think those players are going to be very important for Newcastle. It's going to be very important for Barcelona to be able to control that midfield, just like they did in the group stages of the Champions League. We're going to need Pedri at full power. We're going to need Marc Banal at full power. And we're going to need Fermin Lopez at full power. All right. We can't risk losing control of the midfield because that is genuinely our biggest advantage against Newcastle. They are going to most likely be playing counter-attacking football, maybe sit back a bit, maybe wait for Lamine Yamal to lose the ball in possession and then go and attack. But I trust my defense. Well, do I trust my defense? I at least trust my goalkeeper to save some of those shots. And, you know, the back line is not the best, but going forward, it's a strong component of Barcelona's attack. All right, so head-to-head, obviously we covered Barcelona and Newcastle played each other in the group stage, but there was a specific man who stood out to everybody in that game, and that was Marcus Rashford. All right, he was the goal scorer for both goals for Barcelona, and he got us the win. First one was a header. Second one was an absolute belter, screamer. Say whatever you want. Top bins. No keeper is saving that. Just absolutely world class. Do I expect Marcus Rashford to play in this game? Yes, but I do not expect him to start. I do think that Rafinha is going to start, strictly because last game against Atletico Bilbao, Rafinha was starting on the bench. They started the game with Marcus Rashford, and he didn't really show much quality there. So I honestly think Hansi Flick was resting Rafinha, and Rafinha is going to start against Newcastle, which I honestly think is good because, Newcastle's not really going to know what to expect of Rafinha. They never played him again before. So that's good. Barcelona's key players for this game, like I mentioned, the midfield is going to be very important. So I think Rafinha and Pedri and Lamine Yamal and Eric Garcia are going to be Barcelona's main key players to look out for. Like I said, I think Rafinha is going to bring something that Newcastle is not familiar with, and Lamine Yamal is going to be creative. And Eric Garcia, I specifically put him on here because I think he is going to be integral for the back line, get them in the shape that they need to be to potentially call offsides and, just be smart in the back line because we do not want to concede early. That is the one thing we don't want to do. We don't want to concede early against Newcastle. We want to at least come out of this game with a draw or a win, okay? Either one of those is perfect. A loss is not good because that means we're going to have to work extra hard in the Camp Nou, and we don't want that, all right? So my prediction for this roundup, Barcelona versus Newcastle, I do think it's going to end 2-2 for both sides. I don't really see Barcelona keeping a clean sheet with Koundé and Balde absent. They are our starters for a reason, but I can see a world where maybe we do keep a clean sheet. Maybe Joan Garcia has a masterclass and he saves a bunch of chances just like he did in the Atletico game. But as for now, I do think it's going to be 2-2. Maybe we see some goals from Lamine Yamal, Rafinha. And then for Newcastle, I'm going to predict Anthony Gordon and Elenga to score. So that's that first match covered. Next we have oh my gosh, I started so bad. Next we have Galatasaray versus Liverpool. All right. So these two teams, like I mentioned before, they have faced each other before. Liverpool and Galatasaray played earlier this season. Galatasaray beat Liverpool 1-0. This was at home at Galatasaray's home stadium. So maybe that is why they won. But regardless, I think that Galatasaray did deserve to win. They got a penalty by and converted it because of Osimhen, which is, like I said, going to be one of their key players, along with Gundogan and Leroy Sané and Yilmaz. Yilmaz? Sorry, I wrote his name down, but I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. Yilmaz? Whatever. I think those are going to be the main players that are going to have to elevate everybody's game in order for Galatasaray to get a dub here. I am rooting for Liverpool, however. I do want to see Liverpool go far in the Champions League. I think they got snubbed last year by getting first place in the league table and then going out the immediate next round against PSG. I mean, PSG were just phenomenal towards the end of the season, so they got unlucky there. But hey, you gotta beat the best to be the best, and Liverpool were unfortunately not on that day. So I do want to see Liverpool go through. If they go through, then we can potentially see PSG versus Liverpool again, or Chelsea versus Liverpool. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be important for Liverpool to lock down Osimhen. He's obviously their best player, their best striker. And on Liverpool's side, I think the best players for them is going to be VVD, Szoboszlai, and Ekitike, as well as Alisson. Szoboszlai, low-key, in the UCL at least, I think Szoboszlai has been carrying. He scored the penalty against Milan to make it 1-0, and he gave the assist to McAllister to win against Real Madrid. And without those games, they don't make it into the top 8. So Szoboszlai has been very good for Liverpool. I do think that Liverpool will be able to get the win, but that's only if those 4 players that I mentioned are on their best game. But yeah, currently, as far as form goes, Liverpool have not been the best. They currently sit 6th in the Premier League. So they are currently missing out on Champions League football the next season. But everything can change in the Premier League. It's very competitive. Liverpool can easily slide into 4th place or top 4. And, Manchester or Chelsea or whoever's in the top 4 right now could easily slip up. However, they did lose recently against Wolves and they beat them. So Liverpool is a very, very interesting side. They are very inconsistent as of currently. But I do think they'll be able to get the win against Galatasaray. With that being said, they're not going to beat Galatasaray at home, which is where the first leg takes place. I think eventually in when it goes to Liverpool Stadium at Anfield, they'll be able to win there. But right now, I have Galatasaray winning 2-0 at Turkey in Galatasaray Stadium. So that is Galatasaray versus Liverpool. Next up, we got Atletico versus Tottenham. Now this side is probably the most imbalanced. Actually, I don't want to say that because we do have Atlanta versus Bayern, but it's one of the most imbalanced sides, I think, in terms of form, because Atletico Madrid have currently increased their form with the signing of Lookman, and Tottenham have absolutely plummeted due to them losing out on or firing their manager. But to be honest, before that, they were doing bad. But let's go ahead and look at the key players for Atletico. I think the key players for this matchup is going to be Lookman, Simeone, Sorloth, and Barrios. Barrios has easily been Atletico's best player. Sorloth has been Atletico's top scorer. Simeone, I love this. Okay, I'm not gonna say I love this guy because he plays for Atletico and I'm a Barca fan. But this guy's tenacity and his love for the freaking badge, I would love to have a player like that play for Barca, and we do have a couple of them, like Gavi. To be fair, even Rafinha, like they're like that. They're high press, high intensity. They play for the badge every single game. They give it everything, and then they have Lookman, who is another amazing signing. And Lookman is going to be that. He's going to be that quiet finisher, and he's going to finish a lot of chances, or at least create a lot. Lookman is very good dribbler, and quality finisher. So stay on the lookout for him. Recently, Atletico have picked up their form. As I mentioned before, they just beat Real Sociedad, and they're going to be facing Real Sociedad in the final for the Copa del Rey. So they could easily win the Copa del Rey if they lock in, which I do not want them to win the Copa del Rey, if I'm being honest. But yeah, so head to head, the last time they played Tottenham and Atletico together, it was in 2016 actually. So that was 10 years ago, bro. That's insane. And it was for like some random cup. I think it was like a friendly or something, but the score was 1-0 and Atletico won. So I don't think that has anything to do with how they're going to play on Tuesday, but just a fun fact for you guys. And then as for Tottenham, they're close to relegation. As soon as they fire their manager, they just plummet in quality. They have lost all 5 of their last games, and it's not looking good for them. Key players for them are going to be Christian Romero, Richarlison, Van de Ven, and Pedro Porro. They do play a 3-in-the-back system, which I don't know. Maybe they could be a little bit more offensive, but I still think that Atletico are going to take care of this team pretty easily. I don't see Tottenham. I mean, it would be the most Tottenham thing, though, if they get relegated from the Premier League, but they win the Champions League. So just for the memes, I might say that Tottenham win the first game. But the first game is played at the Metropolitano because actually, yeah, Atletico did not make top 8 and Tottenham did, which I don't even know how they did, but they just won a bunch of their Champions League games. So they're top 8. Atletico placed like 15th or 16th or 12th or something. So we're playing at the Metropolitano first, which is why I have Atletico winning 3-0 against Tottenham on Tuesday at the Metropolitano for the first leg. So yeah, that's pretty much the Atletico Madrid versus Tottenham tie. And now moving on to probably the most unbalanced tie for sure. It's Bayern Munich versus Atalanta. Damn, bro, that is gonna be a long day for Atalanta. I'm not gonna lie. Bayern Munich have been genuinely one of the best attacking sides in all of Europe. I would place them just below Barcelona. I think Barcelona, just because they have Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, and Lewandowski on their best day, those 3 are the most deadly. Obviously, Lewandowski kind of dipped in form because he's getting older. But, damn. See, that's the thing, though, because they have Olise, Harry Kane, and Luis Diaz. And currently, I think Harry Kane is obviously above Lewandowski. I have Lamine Yamal above Michael Olise. But Rafinha versus Luis Diaz, that can go either way. I mean, Rafinha was a Ballon d'Or candidate last season, but let me see Luis Diaz. How many goals does Luis Diaz have? 14 goals, 11 assists, so 25 GA. Now let's look at Rafinha's GA. Okay, yeah. So 25 GA for Luis Diaz and 11 GA for Rafinha. So this season, I guess, yeah, you definitely have to say that Luis Diaz has been playing better. But you do have to take into consideration that Rafinha has been injured for I think twice this season. So, take that as you will. But yeah, dude, I for sure think that Bayern Munich probably have maybe the best attack. I don't know, maybe. I'm a Barca fan, so obviously I'm going to say Barca, but yeah, we'll give it to Bayern Munich for as best attack. Maybe. Best midfield though, for sure Barcelona. I mean, who comes close, bro? Nobody comes close. But let's be honest, dude. Bayern is 100% gonna win this. They're probably gonna win both legs. I probably have it being like 5-0 on aggregate. Nobody really believes in Atalanta. I mean, just naming a couple players from Atalanta, Scamacca and Sclavini. Do you guys know who that is? I don't know who those players are. Maybe I just have L ball knowledge, but those players, are the highest rated players for Atlanta according to FootMob. So maybe they're all stars, but maybe I just have L ball knowledge, but I've never heard of them. And then as for Bayern, they've won all 6 of their last games. I've never seen that much green on FootMob. No, I'm playing. I'm exaggerating, but they have been crazy form. However, they do concede though, so maybe Atlanta can do something there. But let's be honest, they probably won't. Now we have Arsenal versus Leverkusen. Now this tie is going to be probably Arsenal all the way, both legs, to be honest. But I can see maybe Leverkusen pulling off an upset in like one of the games. But let's be honest, Arsenal have been probably the best team all around in Europe, which kind of sucks because they're literally just corner FC. They just win off of crosses into the box and just hope for the best. That's not really what you want to see in football games, but hey, I mean, I guess they're winning, so they're doing something right. But looking onto the form of Arsenal, they haven't lost a game since the Man United game, which was in February or late February. So they're looking very strong defensively and in set pieces. And head-to-head, Bayern Leverkusen and Arsenal played each other in the 2024 season, and Arsenal beat them 4-1 thanks to Havertz, Trossard, Jesus, and Sinchenko. I'm horrible with pronouncing names, but yeah. So Leverkusen are going to be looking for revenge. Maybe they can pull it off, but let's be honest, probably not going to happen. So Leverkusen is heavy underdogs. They do have players like Grimaldo and Patrick Schick and Alexi Garcia, but I have Arsenal taking it. And the first leg, I'm going to give it to Arsenal 2-0. And then in the second leg, maybe like a 3-0 because it's going to be played at the Emirates. So, yeah, 5-0 on aggregate as well. Same with the Atlanta versus Bayern Munich game. So, yeah, that's that tie. And then what other ties do we have? We have Bodo Glimt versus Sporting CP. Bro, you know I'm going to back my club Bodo Glimt, bro. I've been a Bodo Glimt fan since I was a young. No, I'm playing. I do want to see Bodo Glimt go through. However, I see a lot of people making good points for why Sporting could also go through. Sporting haven't made a Champions League quarterfinal since like the 1960s or something. So they're going to be looking to do something special this year. But Bodo Glimt haven't made a Champions League quarterfinal ever. So they're going to be looking to do something special as well. It's going to be an interesting tie. Bodo Glimt, I think, do play better football. They play like some really good counterattacking football, actually. Like just quick passes. They're pretty clinical sometimes. They got some good players, but yeah. And they're all Norwegian. I think most of their squad is Norwegian, right? So that's going to be interesting to see how Norway lines up in the World Cup, but never mind that. Sporting CP does have the Luis Suarez region. It plays for Colombia. But overall, just the fact that Bodo Glimt beat Man City, they beat Inter Milan, they knocked them out of the Champions League, and they beat Atletico Madrid. Just because of that, I'm gonna give Bodo Glimt the edge for over Sporting CP. Even though they have beat some, Sporting CP have beat some pretty big teams. They beat Chelsea as well, 2-1, I think. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game, but I got Bodo Glimt going through, and yeah. Now, I think this is going to be our final match. We've covered all of these, right? The final match, Real Madrid versus Man City, bro. Okay, even as a Barca fan, I'm so excited. I think I might be a little bit more excited for this matchup than the Barcelona game. I'm not going to lie. Just because this is literally the Champions League El Clásico, bro. And I want to see Real Madrid lose so bad. I want them to get knocked down in the round of 16 so bad. So that's why I'm excited. Real Madrid, they're coming into this game with a very lucky win. I'll be honest, I watched the whole game. Real Madrid did not deserve to win that game against, who was the team? Celta Vigo away. They did not deserve to win that game, but Valverde came in clutch. A screamer outside of the box. Could that be a preview to what we see in this Manchester City game against Real Madrid? Because for some reason, whenever these two teams play, there's always some out-of-the-box screamer that happens. Whether it's from Man City or from Real Madrid, somebody smashes it into the box and we get some phenomenal goals. But I just think that Man City is going to be too much quality for them. They got the likes of Semenyo, Holland. Holland is going to be back. Omar Marmoush, Cherki, O'Reilly, and who's the other guy? Frick. Who's number 7? He just scored against Newcastle the other day. Hold on, let me go to Manchester City. He stood there, like, just watching the play. It was funny. Cherokee, no. Bernardo Silva is also going to be a quality. Rodri, oh my gosh, dude, this team is so stacked. If they can actually lock in and play well, dude, it's not even going to be close. Was it Savinho? Okay, Savinho was the one that scored against Newcastle. But Semenyo has been absolutely killing it lately, at least while Holland has been absent. But yeah, and then Reinders as well. Dude, the only thing that kind of worries me about Manchester is their 2 center backs. Well, at least, yeah. I mean, I think Man City hasn't been very good defensively, but so have Real Madrid. They haven't been good defensively either. So I mean, we'll see what happens there, but. In reality, I think we all know that the likeliness that Real Madrid beat Man City is pretty low. So I'm going to go with Man City winning. And obviously, they're our rivals, so I'm not going to root for Real Madrid to win, obviously. But if they do somehow manage to get past Man City, dude, I have them beating Bayern Munich, bro. Because there's no way, like, it's just like, oh, it's going to be another one of those years where, like, Real Madrid just get really close. And if they beat Bayern Munich, bro, I have them to win it. Even if Barcelona make it to the semifinals against Arsenal, bro, I might have Real Madrid to win it just because of the freaking DNA. But, and I've seen it too many times, but, I mean, you do got to respect Real Madrid. They are the owners of this competition, let's be honest. They're not the greatest club, however, but they are the owners of this competition. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. Some standout players for Real Madrid. Obviously, Vinny is gonna have to lock in. I don't think Kylian Mbappe is gonna be there. Bellingham's not gonna be there. Rodrigo will probably be there. I think he's good to play that game. I'm not too sure. Tchouaméni will be there. Camavinga will be there. Valverde will be there. Dean Huijsen will probably be there. I think Asensio's back. I think Asensio and Dean Huijsen were suspended last game. That's why they didn't play. But I think those two will be back. Is Rudiger injured? Is Rudiger injured? I don't think he is. But I think he's going to be there. Carreras should be good. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think Dean Huijsen is going to play. And then for the right back position, maybe... Trent, obviously. What the freak am I talking about? I totally forgot Trent plays for Real Madrid now. So, yeah, I mean, it could happen. But like I said... I think Manchester's got it. For the prediction, I'm going to give Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid are going to win. Nah. I'm not giving Real Madrid no win. Manchester City are going to beat Real Madrid 2-0 at the Bernabeu, and then they're going to win 3-0. No, and then they're going to win 1-0 at the... Nah. I should have made this one a little bit more clear with my predictions. But as of right now, I have Real Madrid and Manchester City tying 2-2 at the Santiago Bernabeu, taking it to the Etihad, where I think Manchester City are going to win 3-1. That is my prediction. So 5-2 on aggregate. No, 5-3 on aggregate. I think Manchester City is going to move on, and they're going to face Bayern Munich. And then, this is the actual final one, because I didn't even talk about this one. This video is very long, actually. Chelsea versus PSG. Now, this is the matchup that a lot of people are going to be anticipating. The winners of the competition last year versus the winners of the Club World Cup last year. Chelsea versus PSG. Both teams have phenomenal players, world-class players. Vitinha, Dembele, what's his face? Nuno Mendes. Hakimi, all those world-class players play for PSG. Kvaratskhelia, they're all very good. However, recently, I don't know what it is, but they've not been very convincing. They're only winning League One by a couple of points. And then in the Champions League, they've had some weird games. I mean, they lost against Sporting 2-1. Weird game, bro. I don't think you should be losing to Sporting. I mean, they did make top 8, but still, I think PSG should be winning that. They lost against Monaco recently in the league. But Chelsea, I've been hate watching Chelsea this season as well, and I haven't really had a successful hate watch with Chelsea as of recently. Who did they play against? They played against Arsenal recently, or no? They did play against Arsenal, so I guess that was a successful hate watch. But I just didn't want Arsenal to win either, so maybe I'm just a hater all around. Maybe I just hate every single Premier League team. But let me look at it here. Um, let's go to Chelsea. Yeah, I think they lost against Arsenal 2-1 recently. But who do I have winning? Now this is gonna be a tricky one. Chelsea, dude, I got them winning, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Even at least the first leg, or I think it's gonna be a tie, bro. I think it's gonna be like a 1-1 tie. PSG versus Chelsea. That's gonna be a really interesting game. And then when it comes to the Stamford Bridge, I think Chelsea's gonna win it. I don't know what the score will be. Maybe like 3-2. I don't know, but that's going to be a very interesting tie. So I think I got Chelsea playing Liverpool in the next round, and I got Manchester City versus Bayern in the next round, and I got Barcelona versus Atletico in the next round, and as well as Arsenal versus Bodo Glimt in the next round. Now, you guys let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you guys think I'm crazy for predicting these games or these score lines? Let me know if anything stood out to you guys. Let me know who you guys want to win. Let me know who you guys support, and who are your guys' favorites to win the competition all the way through. But that's it from me, guys, today. I'm going to come out with a second round of predictions after we watch the first legs, because that's going to change the whole perspective of who's going to win and who's going to go who. Maybe there's going to be a huge upset. So, I don't know. Maybe Bodo Glimt beat Sporting by like 10-0 in the first leg. Or maybe Real Madrid beat Manchester City like 3-0. That's going to change some stuff, you know? So, without further ado, that's going to be it from me, guys. Hope you guys had a fantastic day, or have a fantastic day, depending on when you see it. But, yeah, like I said, guys, you guys comment down below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.